Hello, it's Rebirth Legends here. We're going to be taking a look at, more Antimage games. Uh, Basically, I'm just trying to procrastinate doing schoolwork and being a responsible human being. So here we are. Alright. A pretty decent laning stage for AM, landing a few kills and assists, getting a 14-minute battle fury. It's pretty good. Died twice in quick succession due to lack of awareness and being greedy, but on the other hand, the laning stage seemed to have went hard terribly for my teammates. The other team started hunting as 5, picking off everyone as I understood. Deal with this, split push and get an advantage over them in terms of golden experience. Thought exactly what I did. Pushing towers, cutting waves, forcing response from other teams, but all my team seemed to want to do is fight. Despite the fact they're behind in experience and items, and the fact that I was trying to create space for them means they're definitely 45, but they still insist on grouping and not splitting up. You kind of contradict yourself. Like, your definition of creating space seems like it's wrong. We're going to look at the game. Just by reading this, let's see how much farm you had. Kind of low GPM. 350 creeps in a 37-minute game. Only 6 deaths. With a 14-minute battle for you. That's kind of bad in terms of farm. Like, I understand where you're coming from. Let's see creeping. The thing is, like, you always want to, like, try and look at what you can do better, right? Like, let's check this out. Are you the soloer? Yeah. So you got 3 people who are probably idiots and an invoker. The problem with running an invoker and anti-mage is they actually play kind of similar. Like, invoker wants to split push. Like, he'll usually get fast boots of travels, and he wants to, like, split push and do, like, random things. And not really be with his team as much. So you don't really want to, oops. You don't really want to have them on, like, the same team. Unless you have, like, a Quas Wex Invoker, which not many people play anymore. Like, any Exhort Invoker will usually be, like, split farming, using Forged Spirits and stuff like that. So it does make it hard for your 3 heroes to function in that respect. We can check how it was picked. You picked it with the Invoker. I mean, like, it's not the worst or anything. It's just, like, they have a similar play style, so it's not really going to be 4v5 or 4v4. It's going to be, like, 3 of them. Because Invokers play very farm heavy. Let's back it up. Let's see what your starting items are, and we'll watch this probably at an accelerated rate. Like I said, I'm procrastinating work, so I shouldn't do this for too long. It's an okay lane for you. I would be hesitant at skilling my mana break first. And you do have 2 supports in lane, so it's not really that bad. So one like little fuck up here. Let's see what your gold is. I imagine you get the rune. So the first thing you should be doing again this lane is finishing this poor man's shield. Some greedy people will get a quelling blade. Once you see it's like a 2-person lane with like melees, you don't do that. You need to walk over, finish the poor man's shield right now. Because you're going to trade with this guy. Like, we see that you trade with him over here. Like, we know that's going to happen. Not having the poor man's shield increases the amount of damage you're taking, like, exponentially. It's really bad. So you do definitely want that. You let him get that deny for free. Your lion's not in a very good position. The lion should be behind you right now. There's very rare situations where you want that. Like, it's really good that this went how it did, right? But I want to stress, like, you didn't need to waste a salve. You could use, like, 1.5. Like, you could have basically gotten away with 1 tango there if you actually had your poor man's shield finished. Like, you're sitting on the gold, right? So, like, why not? Why not have it? It wouldn't have cost you any creeps or anything to have that. Here, I would think you do just rush the Ring of Health next. It'll let you trade better with them. Your lineup has like a fair amount of stuns, so you'll be able to get in some good hits anyway. You could get an Oov too, in place of boots, just to let you get that faster Ring of Health, but you can like judge that as the lane goes. Right now, it probably wouldn't do a whole lot. I mean, he's just dead because he got out of position. Yeah, still get you that kill there. If you have an Oov there, you get that kill. Oh, no, you get it anyway. Like, your team has a lot of stuns. I think an Oov could be decent. It's something I don't utilize enough. I rarely get tri-lanes, though. I think you want to auto that down. Hang on, let me look at that real quick. So when you're in like a contested lane like this, something like really important to understand is that when you're in like a 2-1-2 or a 2v2 or 2v3 or like 1v2 lane, like you're gonna be in now, like your Nyx and your Lions should be roaming. Like they can go mid and kill a Viper. Like Invoker is very strong with like 2 stun roams like that. He gets an easy Sunstrike. Cold Snap is really good. He'll get an Alacrity off. It is a 3k average game, but there's a decent chance they can get a kill by doing that. So what we want to talk about here is, like, you just killed them. How do you maximize what you're doing here? What you want to do is you want to actually, like, kill these creeps as fast as possible. Every non-contested creep that you can safely get, you just do. Even if it means pushing the wave back. Like, the reason you want to control creep waves and not auto stuff down is because you want to be able to creep in a safe environment. There's no safe environment for you to creep in. So while the enemy's gone because they died or got low or whatever, you need to take the creeps that you can get. Instead, like, you miss 3 denies there and don't get a creep. So now, like, you have to do this whole wave under tower. You could have, like, had less creeps. You actually don't miss one there yet. You better not. You missed one of those range. It's really bad. Like, creeping on AM with, like, range is, like, really fucking easy. And you missed a whole lot there. But, like if you had autoed that down, there would have been less creeps under that tower for you to deal with. And while you got all the melees, you missed, like, I think over half the ranged. You kind of waited on that skill point. I don't know if you just didn't notice or whatever. I think leveling the blink is probably fine. I wouldn't be opposed to the second level of mana break. I usually max the mana break because it opens up, it makes you jungle better. When you want to go early jungling, it's definitely a lot stronger. Because almost every creep nowadays has mana, so you get a lot of utility from using mana break. So here you should be trying to side pull. You don't side pull. Like at this point, you probably just want to kick your line out of lane. He left, right? Yeah. Like you basically have a free lane. Pudge is like the easiest person you lane against because he can't rot trade you. You have higher magic resist than like his max level in Flesh Heap. Where the fuck is he? Like that's what, 12%, and you get over double that just from one level in Spell Shield. This is like an incredibly broken matchup for Antimage. Like the Pudge can't win. He has a pure damage hook, but he should never have mana to use it. You just gotta be careful not to get hooked under tower because that would hurt you. Like that was kind of risky. I think he could have hooked you there if he was smart. Like when you walked forward, if he was quick with a hook, he could have gotten you under tower. Gave you the hook pure damage, got rid of some of his mana, which you'd harass him with, and made you take like 1 or 2 tower shots. Like you're doing too much like up in his face. Like you should be pulling, you should be jungling the camp right now. There's really no need for you to be like that all up in his shit. Usually I'd say get the treads, particularly when you're in a trade situation like this, and where you can utilize the jungle really well. Like you're not, like the thing is you're not harassing him a lot. Like he still has like all of his mana. One of the big things when AM lanes against someone who needs their mana is like you can make it so it's like a 4-on-4 for your team. Like if you're laning against like an Undying, a Clockwork, a Pudge, and they want to stay in lane for too long, you make sure they're at 0 mana the whole time. Because like right now he is a little too low. He almost has enough mana to like get 6 TP and ult someone. But that's it. You have him too low to TP and throw a hook, which is good. But you want to have him at basically 0 so he can't even TP. Like that's what I was talking about. You opened yourself up to a hook and you took a shit ton of damage. You're at like half HP now. So now he can like kind of trade with you somewhat effectively. If he wanted to walk up there and annoy you, he could do it. It's kind of hard to keep people like reasonably low like that. Just because of how Dota works now with shrines. Like an offlaner is eventually just going to walk back to the shrine. Yeah, you always want to prioritize lane creeps. They're way more valuable. It's just like when you can choose to like sit in lane for like here, you don't need to. Like if you don't do anything there, did he have mana? Because you should have gone. No, he's not level 6 yet. He's bad. It's just a waste. Like it annoyed you slightly, but you use a tango, you're back to full. Like you didn't need to. Let's go back and talk about this creep wave, right? Or not this one. This one. Okay, if you were in here, like, last hitting these and, like, denying them, you might lose this melee creep because of the ranged, but this would push back anyway because, can't see it by hitting alt, but your creep wave's getting killed by the tower. So you could spend this time killing that hard creep over there, getting 80 gold, coming back, and then pushing the wave. So you're not using that as efficiently as you could, and then you get hooked. Not to mention, when you keep it pushed that far, you're giving him the free experience. Like, you're having a hard time harassing him because, like, your creep wave is never pushing back. Like, it's literally always under his tower. Like, here you see him... Well, you're getting the treads, which is fine. Okay, cool. You're finally utilizing this camp a little bit. I think you're missing a little bit right now, though. You lost, like, 1 or 2 creeps. It was a bad blink. You missed 1 creep for that. Not good. Like, that was good there. You could have finished that melee beforehand. Like, you want to make sure you're auto-attacking as much as possible this one. You should be constantly pushing a creep wave. You're not really looking at what's going on, but you don't have a TP. And honestly, like, I would do basically the same thing. Like, if you really want to try and help your team, like, sometimes you can help by, like, TPing to, like, a fight like that. And, like, you hit really hard with Mana Break and Blink and whatever. Like, you're actually a very strong hero. And then Mana Void can finish people off. Level 1 Mana Void's pretty underwhelming. Particularly against their lineup. No one really has mana except Disruptor. He doesn't really even have that much. Like, even if he has 0 mana, you're doing, like, under 200 damage. Particularly... oh, sorry, man. It's a little more than 200. You would do, like, 300 and then with resistance. But I always find it, like, very underwhelming until you're, like, level 3 Mana Void. And then, like, you can have Destructive ults. So you kind of try and, like, undersell, like, dying when you get your Battle Fury. I want to stress, like, Antimage is a hero where, like, you're just not allowed to die. Like, that sounds silly. Like, you're going to die sometimes. And obviously, like, it's recoverable. But, like, basically no death you should see as acceptable when you're playing Antimage. I'd be cool with either one here. 20 damage over 150 health. Like, the way you should ask yourself this is, like, if 150 HP will save me once, it's worthwhile. And, like, there's possible, like, an early game, like, glimpse rotation could fuck you. Like, I want to stress, you're not looking at what's going on the rest of the map right now. You don't have a good reason to be, like, not being map aware. Like, I assume when you're creeping these, you're looking at the mini-map, which you should be doing. Like, at all times. Like, when you're playing a hard farming carry like Antimage. Like, you know Blue's in your lane, Blue's a Pudge, he's been there. You're missing 2 people off the map. You got, Orange is Slardar. You should have, like, the big threats, like, known to. Like, Disruptor is purple, right? So you should always know purple on the minimap. Try and follow. Like, you don't know where he is. Disruptor could be here. They could fuck your day up. If he's level 6, which he is. The 2 of them could fuck your day up. You should also... Yeah. So, like, when you're in a dangerous area like this, you should also always be on Strength Treads. Let's see if Strength Treads and 150 health would have made you survive. That's another 350 health right now. That's like 40% more HP. It's a huge amount. Thing is, that channel was coming to a close, but that ult was turning on. I think you might have been dead there anyway. It definitely would have been kind of close, though. Because, like, they don't really have right-click. You just have to survive the magic damage. And, like, Pudge hits you with the hook, which hurts. But, like, having Strength Treads and whatever on would have mitigated, like, all that. But, like, let's see if, like, did you know this was happening? Let's look at that, too. They smoke for it. High-level plays. Let's tread swap. Yeah, if you're ever feeling scared, like right now, where like no one's showing on the map, always Strength Treads. And you also, like, this is something you have to get used to when you have heroes who can initiate like that. Is like, you always want to position yourself on the far side from their initiation. So, like, realistically, like, you're not getting initiated on from over here. You're probably not getting initiated on from over here. It's most likely going to come from here. It could come from here, but that would be kind of weird. It would be hard for other people to help the Pudge if he hooked you from here, right? Maybe Disruptor would be able to ult him or something. Just ult and EUN. Like, that's a possibility, but it's still tough. So, like, when you're thinking about that, do you buy out before this happens? I hope you do. Yeah, so you should always have yourself positioned up here and, like, playing as far away from, like, aggro points as possible. Because it's nighttime and you have no wards up here and people are missing on the map. So when you're taking all those factors into account, you want to creep in the way that makes them dive the farthest. Because if you're over here and they go for you, like, maybe your team can help you. But now they TP here, like, what are they going to do? Invoker is going to, what, like, go in and tornado you? He likely doesn't It's 3, 3, and 3. I don't play Invoker, but I'm pretty sure that's not a thing. But whatever. Be like, no one can really help you from this angle. And if you were over here, that wouldn't happen. So this is like a positional issue that caused you to die here. Not assessing off-map missing people. Slardar, Disruptor, and Pudge are all people who can lead to you dying. It's pretty... Any two of them paired with one of the cores could probably also kill you. Like if you blink and you get glimpse and then jug ults, you can probably die from that. Even if the Disruptor doesn't ult. Yeah, it would be close. It would definitely be close. Because I think this is magic, right? No, it's physical. Never mind. All Omni Slash is physical. Whoops. Either way. It's going to be close. So, like, I really want to get that across. Like, this death is a positional issue. And, like, a map... It's, like, multifactorial, right? Like, if you know there's a threat here, which you should based off the map information, right? Like, even without having the ward... God damn it. Even without having the ward, you should be aware that, like, people are missing. This is scary, right? Am I paused? I don't get this. No, there we go. I was confused. I thought that would still be going, but it doesn't. Yeah, so regardless of whether or not you're aware of it, it's also still nighttime, so you still have yourself positioned better. And you don't have to be on Agi-Treads for that either. Alright, I assume you just go right back to farming, which is fine. I would not bother going over there. But okay, now like that really wasn't the worst because you're able to buy out your Battle Fury. You lost basically no gold for that, I assume. You might have lost gold for that, actually. You had 1,400, and you bought out. I didn't check how much reliable and unreliable gold you had, so... Boop, boop. But, like, at this point in the game, like, you can't afford to die. I want to stress, like, I think it's fine if you go for an Ags. You do not blink like that. That is really scary. They're all missing off the map right now. Your goal needs to be GTFO. They could be in your jungle looking for you. What? I wouldn't think they'd be alone. Like, I would assume the Disruptor is somewhere fucking near them. Yeah, dude, you're going fucking crazy. Like, what is this shit? Holy crap. Okay, you fucking deserve you deserve the shit. Like, this is way too greedy. Like, look how much this bounty rune's worth. 70 gold. 70 gold just got you killed. You go over here when they have vision of you. Like, you know the... Okay. Let's think about this whole situation. Like, we're gonna go back to here. Right? You blink forward for some reason to attack 2 creeps instead of just walking into it, right? You walk in this really weird position, and at this point you should know they are literally all missing. Like, they have to be somewhere in this area. They're not pushing out their bottom wave. There's nowhere they can be in mid. They could be over here, but I would assume that if that's that pushed in, someone was there recently, they could be in your woods right now or somewhere in this area. So your retreat path is, like, literally into them. And like, as you're walking here, Slardar ults you. You get amped. Like, fuck, okay. So, like, your worst fears should be coming to light right now. Like, you're around the area in which they're ganking, right? You back up to get a bounty rune that's worth, like, 70 gold. You farm this camp over here while they have vision of you, but you should know they're in this area. Like, we just got vision on a Juggernaut, but you have 4 other people who aren't showing still. Like, someone eventually had to come and push that. But those 4 heroes are scary as shit. 3 of them already killed you once before. Yeah, the Viper's not visible, but the 3 who killed you before, and you're no stronger now than you were before. Holy... Oh, never mind. I thought that was like a level 2 amp, but I was so confused. But it's not. It's a level 1 amp. Well, you should be aware. These are the 3 heroes that killed you before very easily, to the fact where I was like, even if you got treads and 150 health, I don't think it would have mattered, right? Like, that's what we said. And they're here again. Like, you get 1 amp rune, you waste time getting a bounty rune, and you try farming this camp when you're under vision, which is ludicrous. So you blink sideways, which is not good. Like, you should have been blinking immediately. Like, I don't know what you're waiting for here. You should have just blinked past your creep wave towards your tower. Like, nothing about this, like, illustrates any level of caution that you need to have as, like, an anti-mage. Like, this is just crazy. So you're pushing for a Manta right now. The argument could very easily be made that if you get a Lincoln's or an Ags here, you basically can't die, which is a very fair argument. I usually don't, because I have a huge amount of trust in my map awareness and my ability to safely split push. And I like having the damage that getting a faster Manta or not wasting the slot on a Lincoln's or an Ags, which allows you to have a Butterfly, an MKB, an Abyssal. Like one of those items that would otherwise be either A, slower, or B, not there. But if you want to play just like raw split pushy, it can be okay to even just go like Battle Fury Lincolns or Battle Fury Ags. In this game, they're basically the same. It doesn't really matter if you turn something back on them. I don't think any of the thing, like you glimpse Disruptor back. Like you're really there for the block, honestly, not the push it back. It would be nice to amp the Slardar, but that's really not that big of a deal. It might help you get like one kill on him. It's just that it's cheaper. It's like 4,200, and it gives you more like raw HP than a Lincoln's. But it also gives you less regen. So if you're gonna do like the blink cooldown or something, then you'd want then you'd probably want a Lincoln's. Although I think like with the Ags you'd probably get enough regen too. I don't think it'd really matter that much. Okay, so the Jug's dead. We see a Viper and we see a Slardar up here. So your biggest threats... Okay, the Pudge is off the map. So the Slardar and the Disruptor combined probably can't kill you. So you're probably fine here. I'd still probably be on Strength Treads here. There's no reason to be on Int Treads. I can understand Agi Treads, but there's no reason for that. That was not... That's pointless to go for that Bounty Rune. Like, that Bounty Rune should be gone when it's in your rotation. It looks like it didn't miss you a creep, though, so it's okay. But, like, you want to prioritize pushing waves as much as possible. You could probably fit in this camp. You're doing this camp wrong. You kill a small troll and then start targeting the big troll, and then he'll spawn the little ones, and you'll get all those creeps at once. It sounds stupid, but, like, all the little things add up when you're an Antimage. They're all... 3 people are showing on the map. 1 TP'd. I would scan to my right immediately. I would run. There's minimal... I doubt he's alone. Yep, you're dead again. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. Like, the Viper can stop you from pushing, but the problem is, like, shrines are your fucking bane now as Antimage. Like, you blink towards their shrine and towards where they'd be going to try and find you, right? Like, if I'm TPing in the Viper, I know you're going to back up and probably try and go to your jungle because it's respawning in 6 seconds, right? So if I'm TPing here, I'm going to smoke or just run over to here. You literally blink towards their retreat path, or towards their rotation to find you. And then you get nailed by a hook and then murdered. This is very... Like, these 3 deaths are catastrophic. You had a 14-minute battle for or whatever. You had 1 questionable death there, but you kind of bought out. It's whatever. You didn't lose that much gold from that death because it was pre-Battle Fury. Every death after Battle Fury, every minute you're dead, you're losing like 2,000 gold. 2,000 might be a little high. I'll say like 1,800 gold. Like Antimage split push is equivalent to like 1,500 gold a minute, probably. Pretty easily. It's definitely over 1,000. It's probably 1,200 to 1,500 if you're farming correctly. Your patterns seem okay. It's like your decision making here is just horrible. Like, I can't stress how bad this is. Like, if you die on a Juggernaut, it's kind of like, I'm a Juggernaut. Like, when you die on a Juggernaut or you die on like a Razor, the amount of gold you lose, like, are you familiar with the term called like opportunity cost, right? Like, for every choice you make, there's an opportunity that you could have taken that has a cost associated with it. Like, by blinking there and doing something like reckless with seemingly like no choice. Sure, this isn't a good example of opportunity cost. A better one would be fighting or farming would be a better example of opportunity cost. But like, the cost for you to die is so much higher than like literally every other hero in Dota. Like, your effective GPM when you have a Battle Fury on Antimage is like 12 to 1,500 GPM, which is crazy high. That's like 4 minutes of farming for a Manta style, assuming you're not dying and you're farming as efficiently as possible. It's like four minutes for a fucking Manta style. It's crazy. When like a Juggernaut is doing a similar thing, assuming he's doing like a more normal build like a Manta, like maybe he's like 800, maybe. Like, he doesn't have a Battle Fury or a Manta. He's building a Battle Fury because he's a retard. And even that, he might approach 1,000 potential GPM when he dies. If If you look at a hero like Viper, Viper's potential GPM is probably like 700 or 800 at tops, probably even lower. He's not a flash farming hero. He can't get around the map. Invoker's like the same way. Invoker will have a higher one. It's probably 1,000. But like Antimage is like in a league of his own when it comes to his effective GPM rate when he's alive. So like every death on him is significantly worse than any other hero, with the exception of Alchemist. Alchemist is probably close to 2,000 gold a minute when he's alive with like a Radiance. Like Radiance and Travels, Alchemist is probably farming close to 2,000 gold a minute. And then when he gets his Manta Octarine, every single thing on Alchemist like accelerates his farm to where it's probably close to like 2,200 a minute. Like between 18 and 2,200, maybe up to 2,500. Like that hero farms crazy fast. But they're very similar heroes in that vein, where it's just like dying is unacceptable, particularly after you hit. Like they can struggle a little bit early. Like dying pre-Battle Fury isn't really that bad, because pre-Battle Fury you maybe farm as fast as a Viper, right? But once that Battle Fury comes on, your potential GPM is like doubling or tripling. It's insane how much it improves on Antimage. Like it's the perfect item for him in terms of increasing farming rate. These things can be said for an Alchemist. Dying pre-Radiance sucks because it makes your Radiance take longer. I mean, this thing can be said for Alchemist or Am and his Battle Fury. But once you have that like pre-Radiance, maybe Alchemist is farming like 800 to 1,000 GPM roughly. When he's got like Armlet, he's running around with like Armlet Quelling Blade or something. He might have like 1,000 GPM. And then once you get that Radiance, you're up to like 18 to 2,000. Like it's crazy how fast they farm. So like when you die, it is completely unacceptable on these heroes. Like these heroes are defined by elusiveness, not dying, and being very hard to kill. Alchemist because of regen and mobility, Antimage because of mobility. And when you die, it is horrible. I'm standing on this point because I don't feel like I can just say like dying is bad on Antimage and let that stand as is. Some other commentators like noted that like when you were talking about it, you're like, yeah, I died a little after I got Battle Fury, but my team just kept fighting. It's like, no, this is like your fault. Like you had a 14-minute Battle Fury, 5 minutes later, you put together 1,400 gold. You put together like less than 300 gold a minute after getting a Battle Fury. You're operating at like 1/5 your potential GPM right now. 1/4 to 1/5 your potential GPM, which is hard. Like it is horrible. I don't mean this to like, I don't mean to sound like mean or anything. I'm meaning to like really drive home that like what separates a good Antimage from a bad one is like understanding this, right? Like dying is almost never worth it. Like I've had to have that conversation with people who are like, Joe, why didn't you show up to a fight? Why didn't you do this? I'm like, dude, it's not worth the chance of me dying. Like if I'm an Alchemist, like showing up to a fight and engaging in some prolonged like standing outside Roche Pit as like an Alchemist or an AM is costing you like 1,500 to 2,000 gold a minute that you're just sitting there doing nothing. Like these heroes are like always finding something to do type heroes. I don't really know why you went here. Like you're pincered between where their positions are right now. Like where do you go to farm? I'd say go down and creep cut and then farm their jungle. Your TP's on cooldown, which is like a little awkward. You can try and screw with this guy. You can't blink in. You can fight mid. Yeah, kill that guy. Fuck him. Cool. Ult that guy. Save him. Save him. Oh, too late. You can blink and kill him. Like, you know the two people aren't here. His ult's down. Who cares if the Disruptor ults you now? Awesome. This is pretty good fighting. I want to stress, like, there is a point where you do just want to back out. This is it. You just start going top right now. I wouldn't even stop at the camp. You just fucking killed yourself. Let's see why you died from this. All you gotta do is blink away immediately. Like, your blink's on cooldown, off cooldown. Like, why aren't you using it? Like, you should be using your blink literally on cooldown, particularly since you got the blink cooldown talent over the attack speed. I usually get attack speed. I itemize with, like, a purpose. Like, when I play Antimage, I get items that make it so I kill people as hard and fast as possible when I jump on them with, like, a Manta and a Basher, right? So if you want to do that, then you get 20 damage, 20 attack speed, 10 stats, and then 25 agility, right? With the blink cooldown, it lets you farm a lot better. And I think, like, in this meta, it could be worth it to do that because it'll open up the other camp opportunities for you. When you have to prioritize lane pushing, having a shorter blink cooldown will let you work in more camps. It also makes you more elusive, obviously. But, like, you literally... Let's see how long you go without using blink, okay? Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 seconds. You had room for 2 more blinks in there. You could have been basically at this tier 2 tower when you got glimpsed. Like, glimpse is long range. It ain't that fucking long range. This is like literally every single one of your deaths so far is completely preventable. I mean, it's good you got the Manta recipe. Oh shit, are you not gonna die? Strength treads! Strength treads! Shrine! Oh, cool. We don't have to die. I'm proud of you, buddy. You can't stick around here for very long. You need to keep pushing. You should not be fighting. That's a DD Juggernaut, and they know where you are. You were under amp. They're completely aware of where you are. You're wasting a lot of time here. I don't think you're going to die here or you're really at much of a risk, but it's still really bad. Like I said, when you're deciding whether to fight or farm, there's an opportunity cost, right? You know, when I started making the opportunity cost example and realized I wasn't illustrating opportunity cost, like right now, every time you go to fight has a cost for you. You were just jerking off there, cost you a lot. Like, this is a great TP, assuming you make it through. Yeah, you didn't get glimpsed, cool. Like, you were under amp and you were, like, TPing in sight. It's possible you get glimpsed there. Now your team takes a fight. Like, this is kind of rough, though. Like, if you didn't get caught there and you were pushing this, like, this would have been at their tower already. You've been utilizing these camps. I'm saying, like, your team's fighting, like, 4 on 5, but, like, you didn't give them a choice. You getting nearly caught here snowballed into a fight happening over here because they tried still getting the kill on you, even though it really wasn't possible. When instead, like, you could have been up here and pushing this wave. Now this creep wave's over here. Your team's here to fight because you dragged a fight over to there. And you're going to say, like, well, my team's fighting without me. How am I supposed to win? It's like, well, you win by, like, not making this initial mistake, which would have had this creep wave pushed all the way here. This fight probably wouldn't have been happening, but if it was happening, like, there's no tier 2 here, so this fight wouldn't have been happening, most likely. Maybe they would have kept pushing mid, but you would have taken their tier 2 for your tier 2. And when your team is down gold, like, that's a good trade. You're relatively like, if they take a tier 2 and you take a tier 2, like, the gold advantage percentage-wise, like, right now, let's say they have 20% more gold than you. It's 10k versus, like, 12k or whatever. They have 20% more gold, right? Like, if you kill a tower, it's like 1,000 gold. So now it's like 13k versus 11k. So their advantage went from like 20% to like 17%. So like their relative advantage decreased. But like it's actually even bigger than that, right? Because you have someone like Nyx who might be working on smaller items. Like maybe they get, like, he's retarded for having Dagon, but maybe that 400 gold that you, or the 250 gold you get him, gets him his next Dagon level. Maybe it gets Lion his blink, or lets Lion just buy a wand, which gives him a little more survivability. Maybe gets him another stun off in a fight. Like, Lion's mana pool is very tight. Like, look, 140, 125, 200. That's 340, 445. So if he's not full mana in the beginning of a fight, he can't get off all of his spells without mana draining someone. But if you give him a wand, maybe he gets a little burst and can get off all of his spells. Like everything adds up. You get that tower. Oh look, he has a Yules before this fight takes place, right? Because he died, he's barely missing the Yules. He's only missing the recipe. He actually probably had that gold before he died, if we're being honest here. Let's check it out. Oh no, he didn't have it. Okay. Yeah, he just gets picked. Well, like, if you were hypothetically taking that tower, maybe he would have finished that Yules. Now he doesn't have a Yules. If he had a Yules there, he might live, right? But, like, it literally has a snowball effect. Like this team probably already has their core items, right? Like stick, blink, wand, finished force, right? And then this dude's working on a blink or whatever. Getting a tier 2 for them doesn't relatively increase their strength compared to getting it for your team. Like, I think that's something a lot of people don't appreciate. Like, not all tier 2s are created equal. When you're ahead, trading tier 2 for tier 2 is not beneficial. It is way worse than you think. Not only is it that relative gold change, but it's also relative strength that's increasing, right? Because they're going to get, like, maybe he gets a brace or starts working on an urn or something or whatever, you know. There's a lot of little things that can be gotten for, like, 250, 300 gold that a losing team might not have yet, but a winning team would already. So, like, the 250 gold is not going to finish a blink dagger for this Pudge, right? But it might finish a wand for a Lion or something. Like, your team's in pretty bad, like, situations right now. But, like, your team could not be in this bad of a situation, and then like, that criticism is, like, more valid. Like, there will be situations where your team's not in this bad of shape. But let's see what you're doing here. You TP top. I'll play your perspective view, and we'll see how you farm this. did that a little too fast. We get our bounty run, work towards the hard camp. I like that you skip the easy camp because you're going to have to go up here and catch the creep wave. Like, you can't afford to let this really sit there for any amount of time. Like, even that's kind of iffy. Like, it sounds really critical, but, like, you don't want any... Like, you should be blinking forward and hitting the next creep. You know they're not coming back here. Like, I guess you've been punished. Maybe you're gun shy, but you've been not utilizing your blink anywhere near as much as you need to. That's a really dangerous blink. You're right near that shrine that killed you so many fucking times before. Because I would TP one person here and then, like, 2 people there. Like, I would TP, like, my Viper here. Because my Viper has a degree of mobility, right? He's got a 4-staff for some fucking reason. And I TP, like, my Disruptor and my Slardar up here. Probably Disruptor then Slardar. And they would have had vision on you killing that medium camp, and then you'd be dead again. Like here, like, why are you farming this camp? What let us here? So we get out of here, we don't die. We see 3 people middle. I'd farm this. Oh, you did get amped, so maybe that's why you're a little scared. Or is that a bug? I think it's a bug. I don't think you're actually amped right now. Yeah, he has no idea where you are, so you're not really amped right now. Like, you need to be back pushing this wave. You're farming jungle too much. Like, you know they're probably not going to push this all the way, and even if they are, like, go attack him. Screw this guy. And then you just blink away if he tries to do anything to you. He probably killed himself there. You have to be very careful, though. Cool. That's a huge kill. That's huge. I wouldn't... No. Don't fuck this up. Oh, come on. You and your fucking bounty runs. You're an anti-mage. Bounty runs aren't even worth it. Leave them for supports or the other team. Who cares? Dead as shit. Or maybe not. Jesus, fuck. This guy's experience. Yeah, this is really... Like, you killed the jug, which was good, and you just need to push the creep wave more. You get amped. It's an okay blink. Just blink further away now. Yeah. That's rough. Like, let's analyze this whole situation again. We kind of, like, we got our kill in our jug, whatever. But, like, yeah, okay, you blink to a fucking bounty rune here. Like, fuck the bounty rune, dude. Fuck the bounty rune. Like, let's look at this. Okay, so he has a wave here without a range creep, so this will push back by itself. What you should be doing right now is cutting the next wave, maybe 2, blinking into the tree line, TPing to your shrine here, and then pushing this lane in. That's your play right now. And you can also pick up your Manta on the way there. Well, like, you can blink over to here, do whatever. And then when you TP over here, you can shrine up, get your mana back, finish your Manta style, and then continue your split push. And then once you have that Manta, like, you're much more survivable. Like, you wouldn't die there if you had a Manta, because you would have been able to purge off the amp. But instead you're dead, because you went for a bounty rune. Like, bounty rune have gotten you killed like 2 or 3 times this game, and do you even get that bounty rune? Let's go find out. Let's see if we get our bounty rune. Kill the range creep. Blink back there. Don't even get our bounty rune. The potential to get like 60 fucking gold, or no, it's a little more than that. It's probably like 100 gold. Costs you this creep wave, which is worth 250 gold. And 250 experience or something like that. And it gets you killed. And for some reason you try and fight this guy. Like, you should have thanked the gods that you don't get killed here. Your shit wears off. All you had to do was blink into this tree line. And praise Jesus that you lived. Like, you could have blinked here, and then in like 2 seconds you can decide if that fight's worth taking. Like, if you can, like, blink in and maybe, like, right-click someone and steal a pudge kill. Like, you didn't even need to die there, honestly. Like, everything about this is, like, catastrophically bad. Like, it's rare, like, I watch a game where, like, this is not what you need. I mean, like, it'll help, but, like, I'd rather get... Like, when a Lincoln's and a BKB basically do the same thing, why not just get a Lincoln's? Or you can even get an Axe if the Jug tries ulting you, he just kills himself. That would be pretty funny. Like, Here you are. Perfect. So this is Antimage Gaming right here. Look, you just wasted so much of their fucking time. Now you blink behind them and you creep cut it. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. You're fucking genius. Manta that off. Yeah, there you go. Jesus fuck. Holy shit. Okay, well that was a little rough. The idea was right, but like your movements I think were bad in it. Alright, let's go over and see how I would have approached this. You wait until they show there, right? Or do you see them now? Like you see them at the creep wave. Like you saw them at the creep wave, you could have blinked sooner and caught this. They see you creep cutting this, it's fine. Like your team has nukes. I would Manta here. You're blinking the wrong, like you're blinking towards where their TP is gonna come in, right? Like assuming they're overreacting to you, which is what they do, you blink towards a shrine and a tier 1, both of which can fuck you. Like you could have cut across here, which would surprise them. when they see you right here, they're not gonna TP someone here or there to try and find you, right? So you could have blinked up that way towards their their ancients like jungle or whatever, like the hard medium camp. And then you could have blinked across river and then went back into your jungle. And they likely wouldn't have caught you doing that. Because even if they do, it's likely that one or two of their TPs was probably wrong in this area. And then whatever happens here. Like you could even blinked over that which I was fine with to like cut it. Manta. Manta there, use your Manta to finish cutting that wave and then leaving and going somewhere else. Like by TP or whatever, and then Glimpse gets you again. That's another one where if you had Lincolns, I don't think you die there either, or an Ags, whatever. What a fucking idiot! Like you just saw a hook come out after you. Let me finish this camp. What could go wrong? Oh, I don't know. Everything. 10 to stats. It's smart. The evasion's almost never worth it because you almost always want a butterfly. Like I can't really think of many situations. Like I've swapped out butterflies in like ultra late game for like Scotties and shit, but it's almost never worth getting rid of your butterfly or not getting a butterfly. And you don't want to have two forms of evasion that are double countered. That was a bad blink. It cost you a kill on that guy. You get the kill there. You could probably overcommit. He could have just ulted you there, too. He could have ulted you. Alright, he's only 17. It might not have killed you. It would have been close. This is playing like a coward. So you lose your thing there. Now you're going to lose shrines. You get one more death in this game. But, like you should be, at 30 minutes, probably 100 more creeps than you have right now in a rough game. Or in a reasonable game, you should probably be at, like, 320, 350 creeps. One where you have to like really heavily split push where you can't jungle as much, 320. One where you get to like go nuts and like jungle as much as you want. Here, like you want the Ogre Club. Like you're getting a BKB for survivability. You should get the Ogre Club delivered and have it on you right now. 10 strength could 100% be the difference between you living and dying. Because like being on strength treads, having the level 10 health talent, and getting 10 stats, and having an Ogre Club is like 7.5, 20, 30. It's like 37.5 more strength. It's like a heart almost. But like now you fucked up. I've done this before. I actually lost a game recently because of this fuck up. Let's see when you use this TP. I did it with travels, I think. You do this TP, not realizing where they are. And then they're, like, here you should be creep cutting. Like, you should see that middle, and you should be creep cutting middle right now. Like, this is actually a fuck up on your part. So, like, what I was going to get at is, like, previously, like, I have made a bad TP, like, not correctly assessing the enemy's position. And, I'll pull the game real quick. Or, hold on, it's on my other account. Fuck. Alphabets are hard. What's this one? Like, in this game, my team is being, like, fucking heavy as shit, and I'm in a... It's, like, a really hard game for Antimage. Rubik's pretty annoying for AM, but Legions that are balling out of control are really hard to deal with. Doom and CK are also really hard. Like, a carry CK fucking hurts a lot. Doom is Doom. So, like, I had to build, like, a Lincolns, and I had my items. I'm doing pretty good this game. My team is just being fucking retarded. But I fuck up because I travel across the map, not realizing they were in a position to push mid, because I think, like, I killed one, or I thought I drew them bottom, so I traveled all the way to top lane, and then they show up mid, and I'm not ready to take a fight, because I TP top, and I blink forward. So, like, there's, like, zero way I get back there in time for this fight. Like, I guess the argument can be made that I should have ran regardless, but, like, this isn't the situation you ended up in. Like, you had time to creep cut this. Like, when your team's behind like this, like, you have to utilize creep cutting. You have to, like, stop the bleeding. You have to push it back. Push back the fighting, and you're not. So you have, like, no farm. You're creating, like, minimal, if any, pressure on the map due to poor movements. You're dying, like, all over the place in, like, needless ways. And, like, maybe you take a tier 3 here. And, like, you build a BKB, but, like, I don't even think a BKB... Like, you Manta BKB. He ults you, and then Viper and Jug just fucking murder you because they do immense physical damage. Okay, like, that's okay, but you got Mega, so the game's over. I mean, like, there's potential for AM to fight against Mega creeps or whatever. But you need to not be this far behind. Like, if I got Mega in this situation and I had, like, my butterfly finished, I'd probably just go for a Rapier. And, like, you could Rapier gaming your way back into a game like this. But it's tough. It is really tough. And he's got a butterfly. So you have, like, way too many issues to deal with. You have a Jug with a butterfly, so you need evasion. Or, sorry, you need an MKB. Or you can't kill him. I guess you could leave it into your team. Like, when you have a situation like that where you're like, there's so many things I have to deal with, like, if it's only the Jug with, like, evasion, you just go, I don't deal with the Jug. And then you let your team deal with the Jug and you try and kill everyone else. Like, you itemize to kill everyone else. But at this point, you've put yourself into way too big of a hole to, like, try and get out of. Like, way too big. And, like, I want to stress, like, this game, like, is squarely on your shoulders, you know? Like, sure, your team might have taken some fights that they... But that's, like, inevitably going to happen. Like, your team can't, like, think about it from your perspective, right? Like, if you're one of those supports, like, you just have to keep 4v5ing because your AM's dead or, like, not split pushing properly. It's very hard not to die there. Like, you could say just sit behind towers, but most people don't want to play Dota for 45 minutes and sit behind a tower the whole fucking game, right? Like, that doesn't sound very fun. So you can't expect, like, your team to do that. So, like, there's a reasonable time where you can be like, hey, man, just sit behind the tower while I get my split push going. Like, there's times where you can do that. Yeah, they hit way fucking hard right now. Like, there's definitely times where you can just be like, hey, listen, like, when they're pushing this for you guys, just sit behind the tier 2, stall them, throw tornadoes, whatever the fuck you gotta do. Just don't take the fight. Let me force a TP. And you can say that, and sometimes people will listen. And even if they don't listen, maybe you trade a tier 2 for a tier 2 and your team doesn't die. And like we talked, that relative net worth swing is in your favor in that instance, right? But, like, you never did anything like that. Like, you were never creating the pressure because you were dying. Like, you're dying all the time. Like, a very unacceptable amount of the time you spent dying. And moving inefficiently. And, like, you can't, like, was your team just going to concede every single fucking tower, you know? Like, without reprisal? Like, the tier 1 was still up and you're fucking anti-mage. It can be hard to get to that tier 1, but tier 1s don't have backdoor protection. You can just blink over to a tier 1, drop some Manta illusions on it, attack it for like 2 seconds, then blink away. Like, you'll probably draw a TP, make some space, and then you'll go back to farming and waste their fucking time. Like, who cares? But yeah, like, you didn't do a lot of things right. And I don't mean that I mean that as like a learning experience, right? Oh man, back to this one. So we're gonna end this here. I have work to do. I should really fucking do it. Like, it's probably like 5 hours of work, and I have 9 hours to do it. So I really can't procrastinate much more. Cool. So I hope you found the video helpful. You can feel free to send me messages. It's Rebirth of Legend on Reddit or whatever. Message me on Steam, or send me more replays or anything else you want me to check out. Antimage is my baby. I love playing some Antimage games. We'll prove that. We'll prove that with our buttons we click. This is how many Antimage games I have. Nearly 500 with an almost 60% win rate. The key to is fucking garbage though. I had like a 40% win rate for like my first like 200 games, and then like things just started to click, and AM made sense. And then I started having like a 60 to 70% win rate, but it takes a lot to pull back a 40% win rate. But cool. Yep. So I'm gonna end it.